Oh goodness, farm life. I was gonna shoot a lovely video this evening outside for you guys. Had some ideas, we'll just have to do that later. But I was out, had to run a couple errands, and came back, and Dr. Ennis, our male goat, one of our La Manchas, was in the front yard. And so there was a little bit of an ordeal. He's in rut, so he's peeing on his face. And all the lady goats were in the backyard mowing the grass, and their milkshake brought the boy to the yard. And so it was very dramatic. All the goats were very upset about Dr. Ennis not being with them. He was upset about not being with them. I was trying to get him into the backyard. Inadvertently let all of the chickens and ducks and geese out. This is the kind of thing that when it happens, I wish that I had the camera or had the wherewithal to get the camera, because then at least you could laugh at me instead of me just being like, farming. It only happens when Sweet Maya's not here. That kind of thing. Like if Sweet Maya was here, he would just walk right up and the goat would just go back into the pits. That's what happens with him. I'm like, do I just bring about this chaos? What is actually happening? It is handled now. At least there's that. It is handled now. And this is what is currently going on outside right now. There's no light out there at all. It is nighttime. Look at that pretty sunset through the trees. Well, since we're not doing a lovely garden walk video, we're back in the kitchen, which is a very honest depiction of what this time of year looks like when you have a big garden. You spend a lot of time in the kitchen, and for me, because I do have a lot of kids and I still have to feed everybody, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen anyway, and then this time of year I just have to work it in. And so like right now I'm doing a lot of stuff like with a laptop right next to the stove while I'm working on canning stuff, while I'm working on doing things. And it makes sense that in the evenings, after it's dark outside, so there's nothing else going on outside, the kids are winding down, going to bed, and that is when I come back to the kitchen. And I usually do about an hour's worth of something at the end of the day in my kitchen. I have this Ohio stoneware crock. This was sent to me by a viewer, but this is a really cool thing that this is a company that makes stuff in the United States. So I have several Ohio stoneware pieces. I really like to have quality stuff that was made here. And this is a crock. This is a 1 gallon crock. It comes with the weights and with the lid. And today I'm starting a batch of fermented pickles. Now there are a lot of things you can make in a crock, and many of you said that I should try kimchi, which I would really love to make kimchi. I really like kimchi, but right now, if I were gonna make that, I would have to buy ingredients from the store. Yeah, I'm not buying produce from the store right now. We will buy the stuff to make kimchi when I no longer have like 80 pounds of produce laying on my kitchen floor. So today, I'm doing something with the silver slicer cucumbers, which I have left. I've made quite a lot of pickles, like processed pickles. Usually what I do those for is like in slices, and we'll eat those on burgers, or just honestly we sit down and eat them with a fork and a jar with the kids. But I haven't made whole pickles, mostly because I just don't have jars big enough. If you're using a half gallon jar, these fill them up quickly. And so I figured I would do a crock of whole pickles. Now I'm cutting the ends off so that these can like meld and all the brine and everything can actually penetrate the cucumber. I'm not cutting a lot off the ends, just the very tips. And it's also allowing these to fit a little bit better in this crock. I found this recipe on a blog. I don't know the person, but I'll link it down below and you guys can check it out. It's just a really basic crock fermented pickle recipe with dill and garlic. And you just make this salt brine. I have a half gallon of water here with 6 tablespoons of sea salt in it. I've got several garlic cloves here from the garlic we grew. So this is about 15 garlic cloves. I'm gonna drop those all down in here. I'm gonna throw some mustard seed in because I think that'll be tasty. And I've also got dill here. I'm gonna put quite a bit of that in. It called for a bit. This is how I cook. A bit, a smidge, a dash, a handful, a little, a lot. And I've got some peppers here. These are mildly hot. And so I'm going to put some of these in here. The cool thing with pickling anything, even if you are fermenting, is you can just get creative and you can put whatever you have on hand. Like if you want to throw onions in it, you can, garlic, you can put different herbs, you can put all different kinds of vegetables. I could put in this crock, I could put in anything. I could put noodle beans in, I could use this giant Armenian melon, I could pickle this. I may try that next. I may try pickling rings of one of these melons. Cherry tomatoes, just whatever. I'm doing the whole cucumbers because I think my kids will really like that. And Toby, he's my big pickle eater and he likes things spicy, so we'll do a good amount of peppers in here. One of the cool things that I thought really stood out about this recipe that I'm using, even though it's a really basic recipe, was that she suggested putting in a teaspoon, I think it was, of black tea leaves, black tea, to, I guess the tannins in that make your pickles crunchy. And so I had some black tea leaves I just threw in here, and I think that's a really cool tip. You can also use grape leaves or oak leaves, I think, to make pickles crunchy because they have tannins in them, but I have black tea on hand, whereas I do not have those other things on hand. So I am just dissolving this salt in the water here the best that I can, and I'm gonna pour it over my crock of goodness. That just worked out just perfectly. Isn't it nice when you find a random recipe on the internet and it actually works like it's supposed to? I get so frustrated whenever I try to do recipes that I find online and then they're just like so obviously not tested. I'm like, come on guys. It's probably why I'm so scared to share recipes. I'm like, I gotta make sure this is right, or I'm the person that I've been getting frustrated at for the last 10 years. I put the stone weights down. The peppers are kind of floating up. I'll probably just keep an eye on that. And I'm going to now put the lid on. I'm going to leave this on the counter for 5 to 7 days, and then I'll start tasting it and see if it needs longer. That was kind of a basic thing to do for my my Crocs maiden voyage, but we'll get crazy with it later. It's okay to start out with training wheels. Good morning, y'all. My coffee is brewing. I totally turned into a pumpkin last night. It happens. Couldn't hang, couldn't stay up any later, but it's early in the morning. I'm still in my jammies. My coffee is brewing and I have something to open. This is an order I placed. I actually mentioned in my video the day that I placed this order, and it's seeds, so I figured I would share it with you guys. I told you a little bit about what I ordered. So this is from Botanical Interest, and I was looking for rutabaga seeds because I didn't have very many. I have one pack of the yellow rutabagas that I really like from Baker Creek, but I was just looking for some more to grow because I want to grow a lot this year because I liked them so much. And I found these on Botanical Interest and they were having a sale, so I ordered some other stuff too because they were really cheap. So just really briefly to kind of touch on seed companies, because we get a lot of new people regularly and people will ask, like, do you have a favorite seed company? And I have multiple seed companies that I really like, and I'm always open to learning about new ones. And there are different seed companies that I have at this point, like affiliate links and stuff like that with. But I love to support seed companies as a whole because I mean, like, one company cannot possibly meet the needs of all the people that I hope will start gardening. And that was made evident during COVID, and you know, it's wonderful to have an array of companies in different regions and different zones. So I support a lot of different seed companies. I encourage you to do the same, and I love learning about new ones. So if you have a seed company that you really like, please share it with me because I love to learn about new places. Now this order from Botanical Interests, my dog and my cat are playing and it's stressing me out. I have not had coffee yet. I used to try to protect Bruce from the dogs because they would chase him around and stuff, but now I've literally witnessed this cat just like off the back of the couch on top of our massive dogs multiple times, and I'm kind of like, you're on your own, buddy. You're asking for it. If that's how you want to play, you can play like that. But then they get going and it's like, stop. Sorry, squirrel. Botanical Interests. This may have been one of the first seed companies I ever ordered from. It's been a long time ago. Before I moved to this house, I ordered seeds from them. I remember ordering from them. But they have really cute packaging. Happy growing when you open the box. That's really cute. And this came with a little seed starting guide. One thing I will say for this company is that they do a lot of information, which I really appreciate that. Like their seed packets actually will have information on the front. They have information on the back. They actually show like a picture of what the seedling looks like so that you can know that you're not accidentally pulling it out in your garden, and it tells you just all of this. And this is really cool, and I don't know of a lot of people who do this, but I don't know of anybody who does this, but on the inside of the package you can actually take it apart once you're planted, and there's a lot more information about the variety on the inside of the package, which I think that's pretty cool. So this is striped japonica corn, which is really pretty, but it's like a variegated leaf. I thought I might try to grow this year into the fall. Most of this stuff I grabbed for gardening in the fall, and I'll tell you what all I got. I always have a hard time when I go on a seed company and they're having a sale and I'm like, oh, I bet I can get these for cheaper. But I feel like I've practiced a lot of restraint here. I didn't buy a bunch of seeds I didn't need. So I got some red boar kale. This says it's an online exclusive. The reason why I grabbed this variety is because it said that this plant lasts through hard freezes. So I'm gonna try planting this one outside. I also got some more Cosmos, a seashells blend, and candy stripe. So these are two really pretty Cosmos. I'm gonna go ahead and plant some of those now, just to have some more color in the fall. Those will die when it freezes, but they were some of the seeds that were on sale for like $1 a pack. I got a couple of different poppies. I'm hoping to plant a lot of different poppies this year, and you plant these about 4 to 6 weeks before the frost comes, so that they will, it's called stratification, basically, so they will freeze and they'll begin to grow. If you plant poppies in the fall, you'll get blooms in the spring, whereas if you wait to for the spring to plant them, you might not get blooms until the next year. Got a couple different kinds of poppies. The Black Swan, which is like a big ruffly one, and then just American Legion, which is kind of like your more classic. I'm hoping to plant even more than that. I got a couple of packs of these Zohar sunflowers, which is a cutting sunflower. And we did plant the bed right inside the garden with sunflowers, actually from seeds from Johnny's that a viewer sent us. And I'm going to plant more sunflowers in the back. I don't know if this will work out, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you try to do these things and they just don't, you know, like the timing doesn't line out and there's no way you can know. But I have this idea that I would really love to have all of these sunflowers blooming when the trees turn colors, and I don't know if that will work out. Sometimes the trees really start turning before the garden freezes and all the flowers die, and it's so beautiful whenever the trees are all orange and golden and crimson, and then the garden's also full of colors. And I'm planting these with hopes that maybe we'll have that overlap with the sunflowers. I got some Chinese broccoli. Florets are similar to broccoli, while the leaves and stalks have a more complex flavor, steam or stir fry. So this is something I've never grown before. So I saw that, thought that would be a really good thing to grow this fall. Coffee. So good. I just have this moment when I drink my coffee in the morning where I'm just like genuinely like, thank you, Lord. Oh golly, it's probably not great how much I love coffee. So I've got rutabagas. I got 3 packs of American Purple Top rutabagas, and my plan with these is that I'm going to start some of them inside to move out, and then I'm also going to direct sow some. So I'm hoping to have a lot of these. Basically with rutabagas, my hope is to plant them and then use them in a lot of the places where we would use potatoes over the winter. We have grown potatoes this year, but with roast or in soup or in stew or mashed or whatever, you know, this will just be a good option to switch it up, and that way we won't need as many potatoes. I also got some Bloomsdale spinach. Spinach is frost tolerant, and just like any other green, I could sow these really closely together and harvest them as baby greens, or I can give them more space and more time and harvest them as larger greens, and I'll probably do a little bit of both with that with this pack. And then I got some sweet alyssum. This is a Rosie O'Day sweet alyssum, so it's purple. A lot of times we see alyssum that's white. That's like the most common one, but alyssum is actually a frost hardy flower. It is in the brassica family. You can eat it. It's pungent. It's very peppery, like it's really strong flavor. So it's not super popular to eat, but it's beautiful, and it's a really great thing to grow. Like where I live, we'll have freezes, but we also still have warm days. And I like to grow flowers that will live through freezes, because we actually still have pollinators out and about during warm days, even though it gets cold at night. And so stuff like alyssum is something that I like to plant a lot of for the fall that grows into the winter. Eventually it will die. Eventually it gets cold enough that it dies. It doesn't live past like a really hard frost, but it does do well if you sow it in the fall for winter blooming. And then they threw in this free thank you pack of mesclun, so that's cool. This is the kind of stuff that I sow in soil bags to have salad greens through the winter. Well, there's my little seed order. Some great stuff for this fall and second summer planting. I love you guys always tag me in your seed orders whenever they come and you open them. And you're always like, I need you to understand the excitement. And I do, I understand the excitement. Getting seeds in the mail, it never gets old for me. Like I love sitting down with a seed order and looking through them and, you know, like searching like how to do things and getting it all down. Even if all the information isn't on the packet, like searching tips on it and just learning about different things. It's just a really fun thing to me. It's the morning that you will see this video. Usually I don't do that. Usually I shoot them the day before, but last night I had a little bit of a conundrum. A goat-tastrophe, if you will. But today I'm gonna be doing a lot of canning. You guys will see that tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out with me last night and this morning. God bless you. Until next time.